Hey guys, Brendan Tees from hooper.com.au here. This is episode 5 of Hooper in the Hub, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by a teammate and good friend of mine, Isaac Humphries. Isaac, thanks for joining us.
Easy, no worries.
Before we get started, I'd just like to remind you guys that I have a free workshop on how to instantly score more points. If you watch this workshop, it only goes for 22 minutes. If you watch this workshop and you apply the knowledge learned from this workshop, you'll be able to instantly score more points. And this is, I'll give you stats, I'll give you reasons why your favorite NBA players probably use these methods to be able to score more points. So go check it out. You'll find it at www.hooper.com.au/workshop. You'll see it in the link below if you're watching on YouTube, and it's also on the ticker on the bottom of the screen. So Isaac, let's get into it, big fella.
Easy.
Let's first of all, I'm missing you in the hub.
I
Obviously, you
know,
might
I'm missing
discuss
you
you
too, bro.
went down with a bit of a foot injury, and you're a sight for sore eyes in the morning when I get on the bus and stuff. So
Oh,
missing
stop it.
missing that little cheeky smile.
Yes,
But
I'm missing you guys too, for sure.
yeah, I bet you. Um, so let's get started. First, I guess I wanted to talk to you a little bit about where you're from, your junior career, and kind of the process up until under 20s before you kind of went to college. What was that kind of journey like for you?
Well, I started playing basketball when I was like 13 or real late 12. So I was pretty late bloomer,
Mm-hmm.
as they say, I guess. And I started with the Sharks, Sutherland Sharks, down in the area I live in Sydney. I'm from Sydney. And just did the whole rep thing, the whole state thing, NITP, like all that stuff. And then went to the AIS when I was 15, I think, and did a year there. And then I kind of decided that it was time for me to head to the US. A couple of opportunities popped up for high school, and I thought that was something I've always wanted to do. So I made that move over to Lalamere in Indiana. And I mean, that was wild as well. Like, that was a crazy experience being in America for the first time. I had my 16th birthday there. And then went to college. And then 17th birthday must have been. And then I went to college kind of a year after that to Kentucky. And I'm still 17, so I don't know how I get to 20, under 20s. I was 17 when I went to Kentucky for 2 years, and then turned pro when I was 19. Had my first year with the Kings, and then went back over to the US for that little stint as well. But that's my life until under 20s.
And so what was kind of the jump going from high school to college? Like, obviously Kentucky's a massive school to go to. So what was kind of the stuff that you learned going into college, going to such a big school, a big campus? Obviously you're probably well known around campus and stuff like that. What was that kind of process like for you?
I mean, it was weird at first because I was, like I said, 17 in a place like Kentucky is, it's a lot to kind of take in quickly because it's like immediate superstardom. It's weird, you've got fans chasing you down the street and people like camping outside where you live. And I was just a 17-year-old kid from like Sydney, didn't know what was going on really.
Yeah.
And then you start playing, and like 30,000 at every game, and like celebrities are everywhere coming to watch you play and loving you and stuff. So like, it was weird, to be honest, for the first, couple weeks, a couple months, and then you get sort of used to it all. And then a big thing I learned is like, life's not like that. Like, you don't have private chefs and private jets and anything you want, and all this crazy stuff in real life. So I think going through that early was good because I could find a perspective of like what's real and what kind of isn't. And I learned a lot at Kentucky, but that would be a big one. Also, just, I don't know, just how to kind of work really hard and in college you're kind of beaten down, right? Like, you kind of get beaten down to a point where you have to kind of pick yourself back up, otherwise you get left behind. So you really learn that resilience and that fight and that that determination in college. I think that's a big part of college, and
And
it
then
seems like everyone you talk to, right, like has that similar experience. Who just like,
yeah,
wow, college, it's such a thing. So
yeah.
um, yeah, big things from college that you learn for sure.
And then what was the first time? So I don't know what the biggest crowd you would have played in front of, but you roll into Kentucky and you're playing in front of 30,000 people, like you said. What kind of stuff do you do before a game to ease nerves? Did you have a bunch of nerves going into one game and you naturally kind of cool, calm, and collected, or how do you talk me through that?
I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected. Well, I definitely am now, but back then, I guess I was. I actually, I probably didn't really know what to expect ever. It wasn't. It was like a couple games in, you realize like, wow, every game you play is going to be sold out from now on, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because even when you go to the away games where it might not be the best school, like basketball program, whatever, no one really goes to the basketball games. But of course, when Kentucky comes to town, like everything's sold out and
Hmm.
it's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
yeah, getting used to that was weird. I don't know about nerves though. I never really get nervous. It's not really my thing.
Yeah.
But I do remember one time we do this thing called Big Blue Madness, which is like like Midnight Madness. It's the
Yeah.
thing, start of the season or whatever, and everyone comes and we just practice for like 40 minutes in the arena, and then that's about it. But they do the whole intro thing, and it's a big deal. And I remember my first madness. We were all, I was going to say rookies. What's that called? Freshmen.
Freshman.
And we all like peeped a little hole in the curtain, and it was packed, like packed. And that was one of the moments where we all looked at each other. We're like, damn, this is real. Like, there's so many people out there, and they just
Mhm.
scream for you, and it's very weird. But you get oddly used to that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's fast track a little bit now to so you went from there, you played at the Sydney Kings, won
Yep.
Rookie of the Year there, had a pretty good year. I remember playing against you a few times and you um, did well against us, so thanks for that. But we'll fast forward
Welcome.
now to your G League career. So you
Yep.
started playing G League where?
I started with the Erie Bayhawks is what they were called, but they were
Erie
Atlanta Hawks.
Bayhawks.
Yeah, Atlanta Hawks affiliate.
Yep, so you played a season there, am I right?
Yeah, played a season there, and then well, it got kind of cut short because I got the call up to finish the season with the Hawks. So
Let's talk
um,
about that then. Let's talk about
yeah,
that. So you're playing G League, and then
yep,
how do you get the call up to the NBA? Someone calls you, you're doing
yeah.
well in G League, and coaches kind of give you a tap on the shoulder, or what's that like? And what was it like personally for you? Because that's obviously, right up there with the Olympics as every young kid's goal and dream as a basketball player.
Yeah, I actually got that mixed up just then. The season wasn't cut short. It was cut short this year because of COVID. I finished the season with the
Uh-huh.
Bayhawks, and then what happened was our GM had pulled me aside like one of the last games or last practices or the last couple of weeks or whatever. It was like, oh, we're looking at giving you a call up to finish the year with the Hawks. Just kind of keep that in your mind, sort of thing, in case it happens. And then I just never heard anything for the next couple of weeks. And I packed my apartment up, I packed all my bags, and I was literally on the way to fly home to Australia after this season. And I was sitting in my living room, like waiting for my ride to pick me up, and all my bags. And my agent called and was like, he did the whole like real sad at the start, and then like to think that I'd not gotten it, and I was like, oh, I'm really sorry, but you're not going home. You got the call up, like that sort of thing. And I just thought, what the hell? Like, who does that? Anyway,
What an asshole.
so I just and I just remember like standing up and being like, what? Like, no way.
Yeah.
And then my ride walked in, and I'm like, don't. I was going to Atlanta, so yeah, it was an awesome phone call. And yeah, you kind of black out though. That's all I remember really, and then all the
Hmm.
details like kind of came later. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was cool to think like, wow, I've done this. Like now, I've played well enough to finish the year with an NBA team and be fully a part of it. So it was really cool.
And then what is your mindset like after you get that call? Are you kind of like, oh, I've made it now, or are you like, this is where the hard work starts? What kind of mindset do you go into after you get that call?
Yeah, I don't. It's hard because you don't know what role you're gonna have, right? Like it's the end of the
Hmm.
season, and you're like, oh, I'm just the call up guy. Like, what am I gonna? I'm not gonna play. Like, surely, you know. Um, and that was not the case. So I guess I kind of went into it thinking like, if I when I get my chance, like I'm gonna do my best, but I'm not
Yeah,
gonna be like expecting to play like that much.
yeah,
But that
yeah,
wasn't the case at all. Like I literally played like 18 minutes or something my first game.
yeah. Yeah,
Um, and just then I started a game. Like it was a really cool experience.
that's awesome.
So yeah, I don't know. I just sort of went into it. I knew the guys already because I'd been a part of training camp a little bit preseason. Um, and the two-way guys were back on the team, so I knew a couple guys already, and
Hmm.
that made it a bit easier.
Yeah, no, yeah, nice. So then, you finish there. You go back to the Orlando affiliate. Am
Yep.
I right?
Well, no, actually signed with the Magic first, and then
Oh
got
yeah.
like down to the
Okay.
G League.
Yep. And then you got the call up from Adelaide following that, and came into preseason, started off preseason really well, and then went down with injury. Um,
Hmm.
Game one, you're on minutes restriction, I think. Game two,
Yep.
you might have still been on minutes restriction. I don't know. But then
Oh,
after that, you've been in MVP form ever since, and you should be up there with the rest of the candidates in the league and MVP contention. Just kind of talk us through how you mentally kind of get through that period where you're injured and you're not training as much, and you got to come out on court and perform with basically no hard work, for the last,
yeah.
I don't know what it was, what month,
It was like 5 weeks or
2 months?
something, bro. Like
Yeah,
because I got all that stuff like for my knee, and then I couldn't do much. Like I was kind of just around the boys, right? Like I just
yeah,
couldn't really do anything. And then we had to literally use like those first two games as like my first practices back to like get back
yeah.
in a basketball type thing. And I remember that game against Phoenix where we went into double overtime and I was on minute restrictions that game and ended up doubling the minute restrictions because and every time I walked off in a timeout, I was like, look at, didn't want to look at,
Trying not to see the doctor.
yeah, I was just like, don't look at me, don't make eye contact. but but yeah, I mean, I knew I'd be all right, like eventually, and I knew we had our plan, and I just had to like keep faith in that plan, I guess. And it just, I knew I was really ready mentally, um, and physically, as much as I hadn't really done. I'd been like doing real weird, meticulous things,
Yeah,
for my body that had me ready pretty much. So
right.
when I kind of after that Melbourne game, I sort of found my groove. The first game, sorry, I found my groove a bit, and then never really looked back. I mean, I just kind of just went with it.
Yeah. No, and you've been playing exceptional basketball ever since. The number of times that I just look to everybody else sitting on the bench, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. The,
Stop
the
it.
counter would be through the roof. So we'll leave it there. And can't wait to have you back for starters. We
Thanks,
miss
bro.
you over here. We'll be back in a few days. So probably see my family first, and then you'll be second on the list to go see. We've got to get a
What?
trivia night in. We're going to get a trivia night in as
Yeah,
well
you
because
have to.
I dogged you last time. But
Yeah.
we've got a couple people watching the live stream right now. So if you guys want to take this opportunity to ask any questions to Isaac or myself, go for it. I'll give you a few seconds here and there. While they're typing, I thought I'd ask you a question personally, guys.
Yeah.
So we know that you've been an NBA player. I'm sure everyone out there is wondering who the best player is that you've ever played against.
You're such a weirdo, bro.
It was supposed to be my number
How-
one question, but I forgot.
oh my god, dude! How did I know that was
Uh,
gonna happen? As soon as
for
you
those out there,
started, as soon as you started.
every promo that we go to, we usually ask the kids like, "Oh, does anybody have any questions?" And they always ask like, "Oh, what's your favorite color?" Or "How'd you get so tall?" And I always put my hand up and I say, "Oh, Isaac, you're an NBA player. Like, who's the best player you ever played against?" And your answer always is,
Giannis.
That's exactly how
It's
he says it too. He's like,
yeah,
"Shut
with
up,
the
it's
eye
Giannis."
roll, Giannis. God, I never want to
So,
see Giannis again.
so anyway, I had to get that one in.
That's it.
Ask a question, but feel free if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact. Feel free to throw in a question. I'm around Isaac a lot. I can just give him a call if I need to. I can answer the question myself. So feel free to ask your questions, and I'll try to get an answer to you. Other than that, don't forget about the free workshop and how to score more points. Just reminding you, you'll find it at www.hooper.com.au/workshop. Go check it out. You won't look back, and I think you'll learn a lot from it. Isaac, one last time, really appreciate you on.
No problem, buddy.
And
Brother, just
can't
say
wait,
brother, butter.
buddy. Can't wait to get back to LA, big fella. We miss you. So catch you
Yes,
soon.
I can't wait to. All right, bro. See ya.
Alrighty, catch ya.